Do you feel it too? That persistent, unsettling sensation that you're a stranger in a world built for someone else. It's like everyone else received a meticulously detailed instruction manual for life, while yours vanished in the cosmic mail. You observe conversations unfolding around you, feeling like scripted performances, and you can't help but see beyond the words. You detect the quiet desperation behind every forced laugh, the fear cleverly masked as confidence, and the profound loneliness masquerading as social success. The unseen burden, when your perception becomes your peril. The most agonizing part of this experience is the insidious belief that has taken root within you, the conviction that there's something fundamentally broken or wrong with you. But what if I told you that this very feeling is a sign of something extraordinary? Carl Jung, the visionary psychologist, identified a type of individual consciousness so profoundly rare that most people will navigate their entire lives without ever encountering someone who possesses it. This unique form of awareness isn't a flaw, it's a frequency. Once you truly grasp the nature of what you're experiencing, everything, your perpetual exhaustion, your profound sense of isolation, your visceral inability to tolerate superficiality, will finally align and make undeniable sense. Before we delve into the first profound sign, understand this: what you're about to hear might shake the very foundations of your perceived reality. Because once these patterns are revealed to you, they cannot be unseen. Once you comprehend the unique essence that makes you rare, there's no going back to the comfortable illusion of being ordinary. Are you ready for that kind of truth? Dangerous perception, seeing through the veil. Jung called it dangerous perception, and if you possess it, you already instinctively understand why. You don't merely see people, you see through them. Their spoken words tell one story, but their subtle micro-expressions scream another. Their carefully constructed narratives paint a picture of success, yet their energy radiates an undeniable desperation. You pick up on what they're not saying with far greater clarity and volume than what they are. This profound ability is the first definitive sign: you process reality at a depth that would utterly overwhelm and break most individuals. Consider your last conversation. While the other person enthusiastically recounted their recent promotion, you simultaneously perceived the soul-crushing compromises they undoubtedly made to attain it. As they boasted about their seemingly perfect relationship, you felt the profound loneliness in which they were silently drowning. This isn't an ability you sought or desired. It's an intrinsic part of you that cannot be simply switched off. And, paradoxically, it has been slowly, relentlessly eroding your well-being. Here's what Jung understood with chilling clarity: when you see this much, this clearly, you become a living, breathing mirror. And mirrors, by their very nature, terrify those who have dedicated their lives to meticulously avoiding their own reflections. That palpable tension that often permeates a room the moment you enter it. That's not your imagination. That's the unconscious recognition in others that you perceive their shadow, those deeply buried parts of themselves they've convinced themselves don't even exist. Your very presence, silent yet piercing, poses a question they are utterly unprepared to answer: why are you still pretending? And rather than confront that uncomfortable truth, they project the discomfort onto you, making you the problem. You're too intense. You overthink everything. Can't you just be normal? But you can't be normal. Because normal often means accepting the surface as the ultimate reality. Normal means participating in a collective delusion. Normal means betraying the very gift that defines your essence. This dangerous perception of yours is, in fact, revealing something even more profound about your intrinsic nature, something that explains why superficial connections feel like a form of starvation to your very soul. This leads us to the second sign, which for many, is the most painful of all. An allergic reaction to superficiality, the ache for depth. You are, quite simply, allergic to superficiality. Small talk isn't just boring, it feels like a form of psychological torture. Casual friendships often leave you feeling more profoundly lonely than absolute solitude. Your soul yearns for conversations that bypass the trivialities of the weather and dive directly into the intricate depths of existence. You crave connections where masks aren't merely optional, they are an impossibility. Jung articulated this with striking precision: rare personality types live in constant existential tension. You cannot fully immerse yourself in the collective unconscious, yet you cannot fully escape it either. You find yourself perpetually trapped between worlds, too awake to genuinely sleep, yet too human to transcend completely. But here lies the seldom discussed shadow side of this profound depth you carry. It's precisely what isolates you. While your soul hungers desperately for genuine connection, the vast majority of people are perfectly content with emotional fast food. They seek comfort, not truth. They desire validation, not growth. They prefer to remain safely unconscious. And when you cannot, will not, provide them with that superficial comfort, they experience your authenticity as an inherent threat. Think about how many relationships in your life have withered or ended, not because you committed a grave error, but because you simply could no longer pretend. You couldn't force a laugh at empty jokes, couldn't engage in trivial gossip, couldn't discuss the mundane weather when your very soul was screaming to discuss the fundamental question of why we are even here. This isn't pretentiousness, this is survival. For someone with your unique type of consciousness, superficial interaction doesn't just bore you, it quite literally drains your life force, leaving you depleted. The empath's burden, absorbing the unseen. You've likely noticed something else, too, an unexplainable exhaustion that transcends mere social fatigue when you're around others. A profound sensation that you are carrying weights that are emphatically not your own. That's because you are. And this third sign is where Jung's insights venture into territory that feels almost supernatural. We now enter a darker, more complex terrain, the third sign. You absorb everything. Not just thoughts or casual observations, but everything. Other people's unexpressed rage, their repressed grief, their denied desires. You are not merely an observer, you are an unconscious emotional alchemist, ceaselessly transmuting the psychological debris of everyone around you. Jung termed this participation mystique, a state where individual boundaries dissolve, and you merge with the collective unconscious. For most people, this experience is rare, fleeting. For you, it's a constant, relentless state. That sudden wave of depression that hits you from nowhere. It's often not yours. That suffocating anxiety gripping your chest. You might have absorbed it from the colleague who sat next to you. That inexplicable surge of rage. It could be the unexpressed fury of everyone you encountered throughout your day. This profound absorption is precisely why you crave and desperately need so much alone time. It's not because you're antisocial, it's because you require silence to painstakingly sort through what belongs to you and what does not. You need solitude to hear your own thoughts again, to remember who you are beneath the ceaseless psychic noise. But here's the brutal, often unspoken truth: this absorption can become strangely addictive. When you're constantly drowning in the emotions of others, you don't have to confront your own internal emptiness. When you're perpetually solving everyone else's problems, you cleverly avoid confronting your own. When you become the default counselor, the tireless healer, the one everyone gravitates to for solace, you bypass your own essential inner work, until one day, you awaken to a shocking realization. You know everyone else's soul intimately, but your own remains a complete stranger. And that, my friend, is when the real battle begins. Not with the outside world, but with yourself. Because possessing this rare personality type means living with a fundamental internal split that tears you apart daily. The invisible war, fragmentation, and the cry of your true self. If you're recognizing yourself in these profound signs, know that what we're uncovering here is just the beginning. The fourth sign cuts the deepest, revealing a truth that resonates with agonizing familiarity: you are fighting an invisible war between who you authentically are and who the world relentlessly demands you to be. Jung understood that individuals like you live with a fundamental schism. Your true self, in its raw, unfiltered intensity, is often perceived as too much for everyday consumption. So, you fragment. There's the professional you, the social you, the family you. All are meticulously calibrated performances. All are utterly exhausting. And tragically, none of them are truly real. Every mask you wear is a small, incremental betrayal of your authentic self. Every time you consciously dial down your inherent intensity, you abandon your true nature. Every moment you pretend to be normal, you feed the insidious lie that who you really are is unacceptable. This internal split manifests in symptoms that conventional doctors often cannot explain. The chronic fatigue that no amount of sleep can alleviate. That's your soul exhausted from the relentless performance. The anxiety that appears from nowhere. That's your authentic self screaming to be released. The depression that descends like an impenetrable fog. That's the profound grief of living as a stranger to your own being. You are not mentally ill, you are spiritually suffocating. Because here's what Jung profoundly understood: the very essence you're diligently hiding, your intensity, your depth, your rare way of seeing the world, is precisely what the world desperately needs. Every significant breakthrough in human consciousness originated from someone who simply couldn't see things in the conventional way. Every revolution, great or small, began in the mind of someone too sensitive, too perceptive, to accept the status quo. That, my friend, is you. That is your inherent role. But you cannot fulfill this crucial role while you're fragmented into countless pieces. The sheer exhaustion of maintaining these fragments, these carefully constructed false selves, is utterly unsustainable. Your body intuitively knows it. Your soul unequivocally knows it. And deep down, you know it too. The secret antenna, recognizing your own kind. Yet, there's something else happening, something almost mystical. Even as you meticulously fragment yourself to fit in, your true frequency is broadcasting a powerful, unmistakable signal. And there are others, rare souls like yourself, who can hear it. This next sign is where Jung's profound work ventures into territory that science, even today, cannot fully explain. This brings us to perhaps the most mysterious and validating sign of all: you recognize your own kind instantly. It's not a logical process. You could encounter someone anywhere, at any time, and within mere seconds, you simply know. There's an undeniable frequency match, a profound soul recognition, a quiet, resonant feeling of, oh, there you are. I've been looking for you. Jung referred to this as synchronicity, but it goes even deeper. It's akin to possessing a secret, finely tuned antenna that only picks up certain, specific signals. When you encounter someone operating on your unique wavelength, your entire being lights up. Time seems to warp. Masks effortlessly drop away. You find yourself sharing intimate details you've never revealed to anyone else, and they're nodding with an understanding that suggests they've been waiting their entire lives to hear precisely what you're saying. These connections are incredibly rare. Perhaps you've experienced one or two in your lifetime, or perhaps you're still in search of them. But when they do occur, they validate everything you've ever felt but could never quite prove. You are not alone. You are not crazy. You are not too much. You are simply rare. And rare, without fail, recognizes rare. But here lies the shadow side of this profound recognition: once you've tasted true, unadulterated recognition, everything else feels like a form of starvation. Once you've been genuinely seen, to then become invisible again is sheer agony. Your unique frequency can't, settle for static anymore. This is why you might unconsciously sabotage relationships that demand you dim your inherent light. Why you'd rather embrace solitude than endure the pretense. Why you can't, for the life of you, go backward once you've experienced authentic connection. Your soul now has undeniable standards. And those standards are directly connected to something even grander, a purpose that has been burning within you since before you could even articulate its name. A purpose too big, the cosmic assignment. The sixth sign explains everything with startling clarity: you carry a purpose too big for one lifetime. This isn't merely about finding a career or setting personal goals, it's a purpose. Something that burns in your very bones, waking you at 3 a.m. with profound insights and downloads too vast for your conscious mind to fully process. Something that feels less like a choice and more like a cosmic assignment. Jung intimately understood this immense burden. He stated that individuated people, those who have integrated their shadow aspects and discovered their authentic self, carry a specific, crucial responsibility. They perceive what desperately needs healing within the collective. They viscerally feel what yearns for expression. They instinctively know what needs to be created. But here is the inherent paradox: the very sensitivity that allows you to feel this profound purpose also makes it almost impossible to fulfill. Because to truly do what you came here to do, you would have to be fully, uncompromisingly yourself. And being fully yourself in this often superficial world can feel like social suicide. Your purpose isn't designed to be comfortable. It's not about achieving success by conventional standards. It's about being a bridge between worlds. It's about fearlessly speaking truths others cannot voice. It's about healing wounds others don't even know exist. It's about midwifing a new way of being into existence. This is precisely why nothing ever feels quite like enough, why even your greatest successes often leave you with a lingering sense of emptiness. You are not here to simply succeed, you are here to transform. To awaken something dormant. To usher in a new paradigm. But you cannot do that while you are still hiding, still fragmented. And this is where most people become irrevocably stuck. They feel the insistent calling but shrink from the perceived cost. They sense their immense purpose but recoil from its profound demands. They know they are meant for something more but settle for something safe, something normal. The critical question is, will you? The sacred wound, your greatest gift. Because there is one final, pivotal sign, one that will ultimately determine whether you fulfill this cosmic assignment or spend your life forever wondering what could have been. The seventh and final sign is the most profound of all. Your greatest wound is your greatest gift. Jung discovered that rare personality types often carry what he termed a sacred wound, a deep psychic injury that, paradoxically, becomes the very source of their immense power. Perhaps you were the child who felt everything too deeply, the one who saw through the carefully constructed facades of your family, the one who simply couldn't pretend everything was okay when it demonstrably wasn't. That hypersensitivity that often made you a target. It's the same sensitivity that now allows you to perceive truths others completely miss. That profound isolation you experienced in your formative years. It forced you to develop an inner world rich and resilient enough to sustain you. That inability to truly fit in. It preserved your inherent authenticity in a world that aggressively rewards conformity. Your wound taught you to see in the dark. And now, precisely because of that experience, you are uniquely equipped to guide others through their own darkness. This is the ultimate alchemical truth Jung uncovered: what breaks us open is precisely what allows the light to enter. What isolates us is what fundamentally makes us unique. What wounds us is what ultimately awakens us to our true power. But here's what most people fail to understand: integration of this sacred wound isn't about healing it away, or erasing its existence. It's about profoundly honoring it as your teacher, your initiator, your sacred marking that unequivocally declares, "I survived what should have destroyed me, and now I am dangerous to every lie." This wound gift makes you a natural healer, not because you are flawless, but because you are profoundly real. Not because you have transcended all pain, but because you have fearlessly alchemized it into profound wisdom. The path forward, owning your frequency. So, here we stand, at the moment of truth. You've recognized the undeniable signs, felt the immense relief of finally being understood, of having a language for your experience. But recognition alone is not transformation. You can know you are rare and still spend your entire life meticulously pretending to be common. Jung articulated it best: the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. For rare personality types like yourself, this isn't merely a privilege, it is an undeniable responsibility. Because the world doesn't need another perfectly well-adjusted person. It desperately needs you, in all your complicated, intense, too much glory. The path forward will not be easy. People will inevitably resist the real you. Some will undoubtedly leave your life. The world will test your unwavering commitment to authenticity in 1,000 unexpected ways. But something else, something truly miraculous, will also begin to happen. The right people, those operating on your frequency, will finally find you. Work that only you can do will begin to reveal itself with uncanny precision. Your real life, the one waiting patiently beneath all the masks you've worn, will finally begin to unfold. Your sensitivity is not a weakness, it is a superpower. Your intensity is not too much, it is precisely what is needed in a world desperate for depth. Your inability to fit in is not a flaw, it is your unique, invaluable contribution. The only remaining question is, are you truly ready to own it? If you've resonated with these words, you are not here by accident. Messages like this don't randomly find people, they find souls who are ready. Ready to stop hiding. Ready to start living as who they authentically are. This is your profound invitation to join a tribe of rare souls who steadfastly refuse to dim their light, who unwaveringly choose depth over superficiality, truth over comfort, and authenticity over fleeting approval.